The fertility clinic smelled of antiseptic and artificial hope. Chloe Carter squeezed her fiancé's hand, Michael, as they waited for the pregnancy test results. 6 months engaged. Wedding planned for 3 months from now. This artificial insemination procedure was the beginning of the family they'd been planning for years. "You're pregnant," the doctor announced, but her tone carried no joy. There was fear there. Pure, barely disguised terror. "However, we need to talk about something." "Catastrophic." Chloe felt her stomach drop. Michael straightened in his chair. "There was an error in the laboratory." The doctor paused, her hands trembling as she held the file. "During the artificial insemination procedure, the genetic material was switched. The sperm used wasn't Mr. Carter's." The silence was deafening. "What?" Michael jumped up. "What do you mean switched? And Michael's sample?" Chloe could barely breathe. "Where did it go?" The doctor swallowed hard, looking like she was on the verge of a nervous breakdown. "It was used on another client. A surrogate hired by a specific client. And the sperm that was used on me?" Chloe already felt disaster approaching. "Whose is it?" The doctor looked at the door as if wanting to flee, then whispered, "Luca Bianke." The world stopped. Luca Bianke. The man she'd loved desperately at 23. The man who'd disappeared from her life overnight, leaving only a cold letter saying she deserved someone better. The man whose name she'd forbidden herself from speaking for 7 years. "You know this guy?" Michael looked at her, suspicion coloring his voice. "Knew him." Chloe forced the words out. "A long time ago. But he's—" The consultation room door exploded open. 2 men in suits entered first, hands inside their jackets where they certainly carried weapons. Then came him. Luca Bianke looked even more dangerous than Chloe remembered. The dark green eyes had a new hardness, the jawline marked by a thin scar she used to trace with her fingers. The suit was impeccable. Power emanated from him like expensive cologne. But it was the tattoo on his neck that made her swallow hard. A snake coiled around a rose, symbol of the Bianke family. Something new. Something that marked exactly what he'd become. A mobster. No disguises. "Chloe." His voice was deep, controlled, but she caught the contained fury underneath. "It's been a while." 7 years? She stood up, refusing to seem intimidated even with trembling legs. "But who's counting?" A muscle pulsed in his jaw. His eyes descended to her belly for a fraction of a second. "Someone want to explain to me what the hell is going on?" Michael positioned himself between them, trying to seem protective but only looking scared. "What's happening?" Luca spoke without taking his eyes off Chloe. "Is that the woman next to you is carrying my child, and that changes everything." "It's not your child," Chloe retorted, finding courage from somewhere deep. "It's a medical error. An accident. There are no accidents when it comes to a Bianke heir." Luca took a step forward. "I've been waiting 3 years for this child. I hired the best surrogate, the best preserved genetic material. And now I find out my child is growing inside you. Then go after the woman who's pregnant with Michael's sample." Chloe felt tears of rage burning. "Leave us alone." "I'm already handling that." Luca gestured and one of the bodyguards handed him a tablet. He turned the screen toward Chloe. "Jessica Martinez, 28 years old. The surrogate I hired. She's being transferred to a private hospital right now with the best obstetric team in the country. She'll have all the protection and care necessary." "How generous," Chloe said, voice cutting. "And me? Am I just an inconvenience in your perfectly planned life? You," Luca put away the tablet, "are the mother of my child. That makes you family, and family is under my protection." "Protection?" Chloe laughed, the sound bitter. "Is that what they call kidnapping these days? Nobody's kidnapping anyone." "No." She crossed her arms. "Then can I leave here and go back to my life?" His silence was answer enough. "That's what I thought. Chloe turned to Michael, who looked in shock. Mike, call the police. The police? Luca smiled, but there was no humor there. Chloe, you've always been smart. Too smart to think the police can do anything against my family. So what do you want? She faced him, refusing to bow. Lock me in some mansion until the baby's born? Treat me like an incubator? I want you to come with me. Voluntarily. Luca took another step. Now they were less than 3 feet apart. My house has the best security in the country. Private doctors. Everything you and the baby need. I have everything I need. Chloe pointed at Michael. I have my fiancé. My life. My work. Your work. Luca tilted his head. Carter and Associates. Architecture firm. Very nice. It would be a shame if something happened to it. Chloe's blood ran cold. Are you threatening me? I'm stating facts. Luca didn't blink. The moment this mistake came to light, you entered the radar of 6 rival families. Do you know what they do to have leverage over a Bianke heir? You're trying to scare me. I'm trying to keep you alive. For the first time, something beyond control crossed his face. Real concern. You think it's a coincidence I arrived here 10 minutes after the doctor told you? I've already intercepted 2 attempts to hack the clinic's system. Hackers trying to get your data. Your address? Your routine. That's a lie. Oakwood Avenue, 847, apartment 302. Luca recited. You drive a silver Honda Civic. Work from 8 to 6. Tuesdays you go to the gym. Thursdays you have therapy appointments. Yesterday you bought decaf coffee because you're trying to be healthier for the pregnancy. Chloe felt the floor disappear beneath her feet. How did you? Because I never stopped watching over you. The confession came out raw, honest. 7 years, Chloe. 7 years protecting you from the shadows because it was the only way to keep you safe from my world. But now you're in it. And there's no going back. No. Chloe backed away, hitting the table. No, this is crazy. I'm not going to. Chloe. Michael finally found his voice, but it sounded defeated. Maybe we should listen. Listen. She turned to her fiancé, incredulous. You want me to listen to the man who's basically kidnapping me? He's right about the danger, Michael murmured, avoiding her gaze. If what he says is true about the other families, you're on his side? I'm on the side of your safety. My safety. Chloe felt tears of fury. Or do you just want to get rid of the fiancé who's pregnant with another man's child? Michael's silence was devastating. I understand. Chloe wiped away tears angrily. Everyone understands now. Chloe, Michael began. No. She raised her hand. You made it crystal clear. Have you decided? Luca asked, voice soft but relentless. Yes. Chloe looked directly at him, putting all the hatred and fear into her words. I've decided, and my answer is no. I won't go with you, I won't be your prisoner. I'd rather take my chances out there than sell my freedom to you. For a long moment, Luca just watched her, then nodded. Marco. He didn't even need to look at the bodyguard. Plan B. What? Before Chloe could finish the sentence, Marco was beside her, something cold pressed against her neck. A syringe. No. She tried to struggle, but the world was already getting blurry. You bastard, you can't. I can, and I will. Luca caught her before she fell, lifting her in his arms easily. Forgive me, Chloe, but you made it clear. You're in danger, too stubborn to accept help, so I'll protect you by force. Let her go, Michael finally reacted, but the other bodyguard intercepted him easily. Your engagement is over. Luca looked at Michael with disdain. The ring she's wearing? Take it off and keep it, because Chloe is now under Bianke protection, and that means she's mine. The last words Chloe heard before everything went dark were from Luca, whispered near her ear. You'll hate me for this. That's okay. You hated me for 7 years and I survived. But I won't survive if something happens to you or our child. So forgive me, but you have no choice. Then everything went black. When Chloe woke up, she was no longer at the clinic. She was in a king-size bed, in a room larger than her entire apartment. Enormous windows showed a private garden surrounded by high walls. The door had an electronic lock on the outside, and at the foot of the bed, reading a book with disturbing calm, Luca Bianke waited. "Welcome to the Bianke estate," he said without looking up. "Your prison for the next 9 months." Chloe tried to get up, but dizziness made her stumble. "You drugged me," she screamed. "You kidnapped me." "Yes." Finally, he looked at her, and there was something dangerous and possessive in that look. "And I'd do it again, as many times as necessary. This is illegal. It's insane. It's survival." Luca closed the book, stood up. "You want rules? Here they are. You can't leave the property without an escort. Phone monitored. Visits need approval, medical appointments right here with Dr. Romano, best private obstetrician in the country. You can't keep me prisoner. I already have." He walked to the door. "The baby is born. You stay safe. When the threat passes, we'll talk about freedom. What if I try to escape?" Luca stopped at the door, looked over his shoulder. "There are 18 security guards on this property, cameras in every hallway, sensors on every window, and He paused. "Sleep in the suite next door. I can hear if you even breathe differently. You're a monster." "Yes." He didn't deny it. "But I'm the monster who's going to keep you alive." And he left, leaving Chloe alone in her golden cage. She looked at her still flat belly, where the child of the man who'd loved and destroyed her was growing. The man who'd now imprisoned her, as if she were his property. "I won't give up," she whispered to the baby. "I'll get out of here. I'll get you out of here, I promise." But outside, leaning against the hallway wall, Luca listened and smiled, because Chloe had always been a fighter, always been impossible to control, and that was exactly why he'd never been able to forget her. "Welcome back to my life, architect," he murmured. "This time, I won't let you escape." The war between them was just beginning, and neither of them knew that the child they were expecting would be the least of the complications they would face. 3 days. Chloe had been in the Bianke estate for 3 days, and she'd spent every waking moment planning escape routes that didn't exist. The room was a luxury prison, walk-in closet full of designer clothes in her exact size. Creepy. Bathroom with a marble tub bigger than her old bedroom. Bookshelf stocked with her favorite authors. Someone had done their homework. Someone named Luca Bianke, apparently. She was sketching architectural floor plans of the estate on a notepad. Architect habits died hard, when the door's electronic lock beeped. Chloe didn't look up. "Go away." "Breakfast." A woman's voice, not Luca's. "Dr. Romano also wants to check on you and the baby." Chloe finally looked up. A woman in her 50s stood in the doorway carrying a tray that smelled annoyingly good. Professional demeanor, kind eyes, but the way she stood blocked the exit, trained. "I'm not hungry." "You haven't eaten since yesterday lunch." The woman set the tray on the side table. "The baby needs nutrition, Ms. Carter." "Don't," Chloe's voice sharpened. "Don't use the baby to manipulate me." "I'm not manipulating. I'm stating medical facts." The woman moved to the windows, opening the curtains. Sunlight flooded in. "I'm Julia. I manage the household staff. You'll be seeing a lot of me." "Lucky me." "Mr. Bianke asked me to inform you that Dr. Romano will arrive at 10. You can refuse the examination, but what? He'll drug me again?" Julia's expression softened. "But it would be better for your peace of mind to know the baby is healthy after the stress of the past few days." Chloe hated that the woman had a point. "Fine, 10 o'clock. Then I want to talk to Luca. Mr. Bianke is in meetings until this afternoon. I don't care if he's meeting the Pope. I want to talk to him, now." Julia studied her for a moment, then pulled out a phone. Spoke quietly in Italian. Chloe caught enough words to know she was being discussed like a problem that needed handling. "He'll see you after Dr. Romano's visit," Julia finally said. "His office, 2nd floor, East Wing. Will I need an armed escort to get there? Marco will show you the way." "Of course." Marco, the man who'd drugged her. After Julia left, Chloe forced herself to eat. The baby needed nutrition, even if she wanted to throw the tray at Luca's head. Scrambled eggs, fresh fruit, wheat toast, orange juice that tasted freshly squeezed. Damn him for even getting breakfast right. Dr. Romano arrived exactly at 10. Late 60s, grandfatherly smile, but sharp eyes that missed nothing. He set up a portable ultrasound machine with practiced efficiency. Ms. Carter, I'm Dr. Romano. I've been an obstetrician for 37 years. May I examine you? At least he asked. Do I actually have a choice? Yes. His answer surprised her. Mr. Bianke made it clear, no procedures without your consent. I'm here to ensure you and the baby are healthy. That's all. Chloe wanted to distrust him, but something in his manner felt genuine. Fine, but I want full transparency. Every test result, every measurement, everything. Absolutely. The examination was thorough, but gentle. Doctor. Romano explained everything he was doing, showed her the ultrasound screen as he checked the baby. There. He pointed at the monitor. Heartbeat, strong and steady. Chloe stared at the tiny, flickering pulse on screen. Her chest tightened. Real. The baby was real. Not Michael's baby. Luca Bianke's baby. Growing inside her because of a catastrophic mistake. Everything looks perfect, Dr. Romano said softly. About 6 weeks along. Due date approximately late November. Would you like printouts of the ultrasound? Yes. The word came out hoarse. After he left, Chloe sat holding the grainy images. A Bianke heir. The child of a mobster. Her child, whether she'd planned it or not. A knock on the door. Marco stood there, expression neutral. Mr. Bianke is ready to see you. The walk through the estate was revealing. Chloe counted security cameras, exit points, patterns and guard rotations. The place was a fortress disguised as a luxury home. Marble floors, priceless art on walls, but also reinforced doors and bulletproof windows. Luca's office was on the second floor, facing the garden. Floor-to-ceiling windows, massive desk, leather furniture. He stood looking out at the grounds, phone to his ear, speaking rapid Italian. He gestured for her to enter without turning around. Marco closed the door behind her. Chloe studied him, still wore that perfectly tailored suit. The neck tattoo visible above his collar, the snake and rose that marked him as Bianke family. She used to trace that jawline with her fingers, kiss that mouth until they both forgot the world existed. 7 years ago, she'd loved him desperately. Now she just wanted to punch him. Luca ended the call, turned to face her. His eyes went immediately to her hand, the ultrasound photos she still clutched. Dr. Romano says everything is healthy. Not a question. Don't pretend you care. I care. He moved to the desk, leaned against it. That's why you're here. I'm here because you kidnapped me. Protected you. Same thing in your world, apparently. Chloe stepped closer, refusing to be intimidated. I want to leave. No. That's it? Just no. What do you want me to say, Chloe? Luca's control cracked slightly. That I'll let you walk out of here so the Rossi family can grab you off the street? So the Morettis can use you as leverage? You don't understand what you're carrying. I understand perfectly. I'm carrying your heir, your property, your bargaining chip in whatever mob war you're fighting. You're carrying my child. He said it quietly, but intensity burned underneath. My son or daughter. That makes you the most valuable person in my world right now, and the most vulnerable. Then give me protection without prison. This is protection. Luca pushed off the desk. 24-hour security, medical care, everything you need. Except freedom. Freedom gets you killed. They stood 3 feet apart, the same electricity that had drawn them together 7 years ago now, crackling with anger and unresolved history. Why did you leave? The question burst out before Chloe could stop it. 7 years ago, you just disappeared, 1 letter. You deserve better. What kind of closure is that? Luca's jaw tightened. It was the truth. It was cowardice. It was love. His voice dropped. My father had just died. I inherited the family business, all of it. The legitimate and the rest. You were finishing your architecture degree, talking about designing libraries and schools. Clean life, good life. I couldn't drag you into this. So you made that choice for me. Yes. And now? You're making choices for me again. Kidnapping me, imprisoning me, controlling every aspect of my life. Now you're already in it. Luca stepped closer. The moment that clinic made the mistake, you became part of this world whether you wanted it or not. I'm just keeping you alive in it. How noble. Chloe's voice dripped sarcasm. My hero. I'm not your hero, Chloe. I'm the man who will do whatever it takes to protect what's mine. And right now, that's you and our child. I'm not yours. Biologically speaking, you're carrying my DNA. Legally speaking, you're under my family's protection. Practically speaking, you're in my house, under my guard, eating my food. I'd say that makes you mine. The possessiveness in his voice should have terrified her. Instead, it ignited something she didn't want to examine too closely. I hate you, she whispered. I know. He was close enough now she could see the gold flecks in his green eyes. Hate me all you want, as long as you're alive to do it. What if I try to escape? Then I stop you. What if I succeed? You won't. Not arrogance. Certainty. But if by some miracle you did, I'd find you within 6 hours and bring you back. And next time the security would be tighter. This is insane. This is my world. Welcome to it. Chloe wanted to scream, wanted to fight, wanted to hate him with clean, simple fury. But looking at him, this dangerous, controlled man who'd once made her laugh until she cried, who'd loved her so fiercely she'd thought they'd break the world together, she felt something more complicated than hate. She felt trapped by more than just locked doors and armed guards. I need air, she said finally. The garden. Can I at least walk in the garden? With Marco. Of course. Luca pulled out his phone, sent a text. He'll meet you at the south entrance. Stay within the walls. Or what? Or I'll carry you back myself. He said it casually, but they both knew he meant it. And Chloe? Don't test the perimeter security. It's designed to keep threats out, but it works both ways. She turned to leave, then paused at the door. That baby you're so determined to protect? I'm going to raise them to be nothing like you. Luca smiled, but it didn't reach his eyes. We'll see. The garden was beautiful and infuriating in equal measure. Chloe walked the stone paths, Marco trailing 10 feet behind like a well-dressed shadow. Rose bushes in full bloom, a fountain that probably cost more than her yearly salary, hedges trimmed to geometric perfection. Even captivity came wrapped in luxury for the Bianches. She was sketching the garden's layout in her mind, architect brain never shut off, when voices drifted from around a hedge corner. Italian, rapid fire, 2 men arguing. Chloe slowed. Marco tensed but didn't stop her. Reckless bringing her here, one voice said. Father would never approve. Father's dead. Luca's voice cold as winter. I make the decisions now. Decisions that put the family at risk. The Rossis know about her. So do the Morettis. You've painted a target on her back by keeping her here. The target was already there, Nico. I'm just controlling the variables. Nico. Chloe remembered him vaguely. Luca's younger brother. Charming, reckless. Everything Luca wasn't. She rounded the hedge before Marco could stop her. 2 men stood by the fountain. Luca in his usual suit and a younger version of him. Same dark hair, same green eyes, but with an easy smile that Luca never wore anymore. Both men froze when they saw her. Chloe, Luca's tone carried a warning. You should be resting. I should be home, but here we are. She looked at Nico. You must be the brother, the one who thinks I'm a liability. Nico's surprise melted into amusement. I think you're a complication, different thing. Nico, Luca warned. What? She obviously heard everything. Might as well be honest. Nico extended his hand. Nico Bianke, the charming brother. Chloe Carter, the kidnapping victim. He laughed. I like her. Can we keep her? Not funny, Luca said flatly. Little bit funny. Nico studied Chloe with open curiosity. So you're the architect, the one who got away. Luca talked about you constantly 7 years ago. Then suddenly, nothing. Now you show up pregnant with his kid, that's some plot twist. Nico, leave. I'm bonding with the mother of my future nephew. Now. The command in Luca's voice left no room for argument. Nico shrugged, squeezed Chloe's shoulder gently as he passed. Survival tip, he whispered. My brother's scary, but he's terrified of losing people he loves. Use that. Then he was gone, leaving Chloe alone with Luca and the carefully maintained 5 feet of distance between them. Your brother seems nice, Chloe said. Relatively speaking. He's a liability with good PR skills. Luca rubbed his temples. You shouldn't be walking around without... Without what? Permission? A leash? Chloe's patience snapped. I'm not your prisoner, Luca. I'm not your property. I'm a person who happened to get caught in your world's crossfire. You're the mother of my child. Stop saying that like it explains everything. She stepped closer, anger overriding caution. You don't get to own me just because some clinic made a mistake. You don't get to control my life because you're scared something might happen. I'm not scared. But his voice betrayed him. Liar. Chloe saw it now, the cracks in his armor. You're terrified. That's why the fortress, the guards, the locked doors, you're not protecting me. You're trying to control something in a world where you control nothing. I control plenty. Except this. Except us. She gestured between them. You couldn't control me leaving 7 years ago. You can't control how I feel now. You can lock me in a mansion, but you can't lock up the fact that I hate what you've become. What I've become. Luca's control cracked. I became what I had to be. My father died. Someone needed to lead, and I stepped up. Every choice I made kept this family alive. And killing people? Threatening people? That keeps families alive? Yes. No hesitation. In my world, weakness gets you buried. I made hard choices, so my brother, my cousins, everyone under Bianke protection could sleep safely. Including you. I never asked for that protection. You think I did? Luca's voice rose for the first time. You think I wanted to inherit an empire built on violence? I was 25, Chloe. I had plans. Architecture school, remember? I was going to design buildings with you, create something beautiful. Then my father got shot in our driveway and suddenly, I'm responsible for 200 people's lives. The raw pain in his voice stopped her cold. I didn't know, she said quietly. About your father. How he died. Why would you? I made sure you stayed far away from all of it. Luca's shoulders sagged slightly. That letter I sent you? Hardest thing I ever wrote. But I couldn't drag you into this life. You deserved museums and parks, not bulletproof cars and constant security. You should have let me choose. I was choosing for both of us. He met her eyes. Loving me would have destroyed you. It still might. Then let me go. I can't. Simple. Final. Not with my child growing inside you. The moment families found out, you became leverage. The Rossis would take you to force my hand in territory negotiations. The Morettis would use you to extract concessions. You and this baby are the most valuable targets in the city. So I'm stuck here forever. Until the threat level decreases. Until I can establish you're under permanent Bianke protection, and touching you means war. 6 months, maybe a year. A year. Chloe felt the walls closing in. You expect me to live in a cage for a year? I expect you to stay alive. Luca moved closer. I know you hate this, hate me. But would you rather be free and dead? Would you risk our child for principle? The question hit like a punch. Because no. No, she wouldn't risk the baby. Wouldn't gamble with the tiny heartbeat she'd seen on the ultrasound that morning. And Luca knew it. saw it in her face. "I hate you," she whispered again, but with less conviction. "I know." He was close now. Close enough she could smell his cologne, same one he wore 7 years ago. "But you'll stay, because you're smart and brave, and you love that baby already, even if it's mine. Especially because it's yours." The confession slipped out. "Because if something happened to them, you'd never forgive yourself. And despite everything, I don't want to see you destroyed by that guilt." Something shifted in Luca's expression. Surprise. Vulnerability. Almost tenderness. "Chloe." A phone buzzed. Luca pulled it out, scanned the message. His entire demeanor changed back to cold, controlled, dangerous. "Marco, get her inside. Now." "What's wrong?" Chloe asked. "Rossi family just hit one of our warehouses. 3 men dead." Luca was already moving. "This is retaliation. They're escalating." "What does that mean?" He paused at the garden door, looked back at her. Fear flickered across his face before the mask returned. "It means they know you're here, and they're testing our defenses." Then he was gone, barking orders in Italian, the man she'd argued with replaced by a mob boss preparing for war. Marco gently guided Chloe toward the house. She went without protest, but her mind raced. She'd seen it, just for a moment. Luca wasn't just afraid something would happen to her. He was terrified he couldn't stop it. And that made 2 of them. Inside her room, Chloe locked the door and pulled out the ultrasound photos. Studied the tiny form that had turned her world upside down. "Your father is complicated," she whispered to the image. "Dangerous and broken and trying so hard to protect us he can't see he's suffocating me. But he loved me once. Really loved me. And I think part of him still does." Outside, sirens wailed in the distance. The war Luca had warned about wasn't coming. It was already here. And Chloe was trapped in the middle of it, carrying the air that made her both priceless and endangered. She pressed her hand to her stomach. "Hold on, baby. We're going to survive this. Both of us." But for the first time since this nightmare began, she wasn't sure if she believed it. The gunshots came at 2:47 a.m. Chloe jerked awake, heart hammering. For 3 seconds she thought she'd imagined it. Then came the shouting, Italian, urgent, followed by more shots. Her door burst open. Luca filled the doorway, gun in hand, dressed all in black. "Get up now." "What's happening?" "Now, Chloe." He crossed the room, grabbed her arm, pulled her from the bed. "We're under attack." Terror flooded her system. She stumbled, still half asleep, but Luca steadied her with one arm while keeping the gun raised with the other. The hallway was chaos. Guards running, more gunshots from downstairs, the smell of smoke. "Panic room," Luca barked into his phone. "South corridor. 2 minutes." He pulled Chloe through a maze of hallways she didn't recognize. Her bare feet slapped against cold marble. She wore only a tank top and pajama shorts. Freezing. Terrified. "Luca. Don't talk. Move." They rounded a corner. A man in black tactical gear appeared at the far end, not Bianke security. He raised a weapon. Luca fired first. The man dropped. Chloe bit back a scream. She'd just watched Luca kill someone, watched him do it without hesitation, without remorse. "Keep moving." His voice was ice. They reached a door that looked like decorative paneling. Luca pressed his palm to it, biometric scanner. It clicked open, revealing a reinforced room. He shoved her inside. The panic room was maybe 10 by 12 feet. Monitors showing security feeds, reinforced walls, supplies. A safe room designed for exactly this scenario. "Stay here." Luca moved to leave. "Wait." Chloe grabbed his arm. "Where are you going?" "To end this." "You can't just... You'll get killed." "I won't." He pulled free gently. "The door locks from inside. Code is 0817, my father's birthday. Don't open it for anyone but me. Anyone, Chloe. Understand?" "Luca." He cupped her face with one hand, the gesture so unexpected she froze. "I will come back for you. Both of you, I promise." Then he was gone. the heavy door sealing behind him with a mechanical thunk. Chloe was alone in the reinforced silence, watching monitors as a war played out in the house above. 27 minutes. That's how long the attack lasted, according to the clock on the wall. 27 minutes of watching grainy security footage as Luca and his men fought off the Rossi hit squad. She saw Luca move through the house like a ghost, efficient, deadly, terrifyingly competent. This wasn't the man who'd loved her 7 years ago. This was someone else entirely. A killer, a mob boss, everything he'd tried to protect her from seeing, and she couldn't look away. When the shooting finally stopped, silence felt worse than the chaos. Chloe waited. 5 minutes, 10, 15. Then a knock on the door. 3 sharp raps. "Chloe, it's me." Luca's voice, but protocol said, "Don't open for anyone." "How do I know it's really you?" A pause, then softer. "Because 7 years ago you told me you loved me in a coffee shop on Madison Street. It was raining. You had ordered a caramel macchiato and spilled it on your architecture textbook. I bought you a replacement drink and you kissed me for the first time. You tasted like caramel and hope." Chloe's hands shook as she entered the code. Gendo 817. The door opened. Luca stood there, blood on his shirt. Not his, she noted with relief. Gun still in hand, eyes scanning her head to toe. "You're okay?" "I'm fine. Are you—" He pulled her into his arms before she could finish. Hard, desperate embrace that stole her breath. He buried his face in her hair. "I couldn't get to you fast enough," he said roughly. "They breached the north entrance while I was in the east wing. 60 seconds. If they'd been 60 seconds faster. But they weren't." Chloe's arms came up around him automatically. "I'm okay. We're okay." He pulled back just enough to look at her, hands framing her face. His eyes were wild. Not the controlled mob boss, but something raw underneath. "This is what I tried to protect you from. This." He gestured at the destruction beyond the room. "This is my life, Chloe. Violence and blood and constant threats. And you're in the middle of it because of a medical mistake. Not just a mistake." The words came out before she could stop them. "Because of you. Because 7 years ago I fell in love with a man who made me laugh and dream and feel safe. And that man is still in there somewhere, even if he's buried under all this. He's dead." Luca's voice cracked. "I killed him the day I inherited this empire." "No." Chloe touched his face, the gesture mirror of his. "He's right here, scared and trying so hard to protect people he loves that he can't see he's pushing them away. I'm not scared. You're terrified. I see it now." She stepped closer. "You're terrified of losing control, of losing me, of failing to protect our baby the way you failed to protect your father." Luca flinched like she'd struck him. "Don't. It wasn't your fault." Chloe kept her voice gentle. "Your father's death, you couldn't have stopped it. I was there." The confession came out broken. "In the driveway. He told me to run. I ran. And he died alone while I hid like a coward. You were a kid thrust into hell." Chloe's heart broke for him. "You survived. You took care of your family. You're still taking care of them. That's not cowardice, Luca. That's strength." "Strength?" He laughed bitterly. "I just killed 4 men. My house looks like a war zone. You're barefoot and terrified in a panic room because staying near me means becoming a target. What part of that is strength? The part where you came back for me?" She held his gaze. "The part where you promised you'd protect us and you did. The part where you're standing here bleeding and exhausted, but your first concern is making sure I'm okay." Luca stared at her like he couldn't process the words. "How can you not hate me right now?" "Oh, I still hate you." A small smile. "For kidnapping me, controlling my life, making unilateral decisions, but I don't hate all of you. And I don't hate what you're trying to do, even if your methods are suffocating." "Chloe, let me finish." She took a breath. "I can't leave. I know that now. Tonight proved it. But you can't keep me in a cage either. We need rules, boundaries, some kind of life that isn't just me locked in a room waiting to be murdered. What do you want?" freedom within the walls, access to my work. I can do virtual consultations with my firm, regular updates on security threats instead of being kept in the dark, and, she hesitated, honesty. About everything. Your world, your family, what we're really facing. No more protecting me by hiding information. Luca studied her for a long moment, then nodded slowly. Okay. Okay. You want transparency? Here it is. He pulled out his phone, showed her a message. Rossi family sent this after the attack. They know you're here, they know you're pregnant, and they're offering me a deal. Hand you over for 48 hours of questioning, they'll back off. Chloe's blood ran cold. Questioning? Torture, most likely, to prove I value you more than territorial agreements. To make me weak. His jaw clenched. I told them if they come near you again, I'll burn their entire operation to the ground. That's not going to end well. No. He pocketed the phone. It's going to mean war. Real war. But I meant what I said. Nobody touches you. Nobody takes you. I don't care what it costs. The intensity in his voice should have frightened her. Instead, it made something warm unfurl in her chest. Dangerous warmth. The kind that had made her fall for him 7 years ago. We should get you cleaned up, she said, gesturing to the blood on his clothes. And I want to see the damage to the house. If I'm stuck here, I should know what I'm stuck in. It's not pretty. Neither is kidnapping, but here we are. That surprised a laugh out of him. Short, rough, but real. God, I forgot how impossible you are. You forgot a lot about me. Chloe started walking toward the door. Time to remember. The house was indeed a war zone. Bullet holes in walls, shattered windows, blood on marble floors being cleaned by staff who moved with practiced efficiency. Like this wasn't their first attack. Chloe walked through it all, Luca beside her, taking mental notes. 3 entry points breached. North entrance needed reinforcement. Security blind spot near the kitchen. You're analyzing my security, Luca observed. I'm an architect. I analyze structures. She paused at a particularly damaged wall. This one's load-bearing. You'll need steel reinforcement when you repair it. Noted. They reached the main sitting room. Nico was there, bandaging his own arm, phone pressed to his ear. He looked up when they entered. She's alive. That's good. To the phone. Tell Matteo the shipment's delayed. Yes, because we got shot at. He can wait. He hung up, smiled tiredly at Chloe. Welcome to family life, Bianke style. You're hurt, Chloe said. Scratch. I've had worse at Sunday dinners. Nico winced as he tied off the bandage. You okay? Baby okay? We're fine. The concern in his voice surprised her. Good. Because if something happened to you, my brother would burn the city down. Nico stood, stretched. Fair warning, you're about to become the most protected person in New York. Luca's already tripling security. Wonderful, Chloe muttered. Could be worse. Could be dead. Nico's grin faded. Seriously, though, tonight was a warning shot. Next time they'll come harder. You need to be ready for that. How do you get ready for people trying to kill you? You don't. Nico glanced at Luca. You just trust the person protecting you knows what they're doing. After he left, Chloe turned to Luca. Your brother's right. They'll come again. Yes. And next time might be worse. Yes. So what's the plan? Luca met her eyes, and for the first time since this nightmare began, she saw something other than control in his gaze. Trust. We survive, he said simply. Together. Whatever it takes. Chloe looked at this complicated, dangerous man who'd kidnapped her and protected her in equal measure. Who killed people and made her coffee exactly how she liked it. Who broke her heart 7 years ago and was somehow breaking through her defenses again. Together, she agreed. But on my terms, too. Deal. And when he took her hand, gentle, asking permission, she didn't pull away. The war outside was just beginning. But something inside had shifted. Maybe hate wasn't the only thing she felt anymore. Maybe that was the most dangerous thing of all. 2 weeks after the attack, Chloe had established a new normal that felt anything but. She worked mornings in what used to be Luca's father's study, now converted to her temporary office. Virtual meetings with Carter and Associates, design reviews, client consultations. Her colleagues asked why she was working remotely. She told them she was dealing with a complicated pregnancy, not entirely a lie. Afternoons meant walking the grounds with Marco, who'd morphed from captor to something resembling a friend. He taught her Italian curse words. She taught him architectural terminology. Strange bonding, but better than isolation. Evenings were the complicated part, because evenings meant dinner with Luca. "You don't have to eat with me," she'd told him the first night. "I want to," he'd replied simply. So now they sat across from each other every night at an absurdly large dining table, making conversation that danced around everything important. Work, weather, the baby's development. Never the war brewing outside. Never the attraction crackling between them like a live wire. Tonight, Chloe broke the pattern. "Tell me about your father." Luca's fork paused halfway to his mouth. "Why?" "Because you inherited his empire, his enemies, his legacy, and you've never told me what kind of man he was." A long silence. Then Luca set down his fork. "Complicated like all of us." He swirled wine in his glass. He drank. She had sparkling water. He built the Bianke name from nothing, protected family above everything, but that protection came with a price. What price? Freedom. Choice. The ability to walk away. Luca's eyes found hers. "He loved my mother intensely, obsessively. When she died giving birth to Nico, something in him broke. He became harder, more controlling, convinced that loving people meant owning them." "Sounds familiar," Chloe said quietly. Luca's jaw tightened. "I'm not my father." "No, but you learned from him. The need to control, to protect by possession rather than partnership." "And how would you suggest I protect you? Ask the Rossis nicely to leave you alone?" "I'm not saying don't protect me. I'm saying there's a difference between protection and imprisonment." Chloe leaned forward. "You want to know what would make me feel safer? Information, training, agency, not just locked doors and armed guards." "Training?" "Self-defense, gun safety, whatever skills I'd need if something goes wrong." She met his skeptical look. "You can't watch me 24/7. What happens if they get past your guards again? You want me helpless or prepared?" Luca studied her, something like admiration flickering across his face. "You're serious?" "Completely." "Fine. Marco can teach you basic self-defense, but no guns." "Why not?" "Because I've seen too many people die from guns in untrained hands." His voice went hard. "That's non-negotiable." "Then pepper spray, taser, something." "Pepper spray, yes. Taser, we'll discuss." He picked up his fork again. "Anything else you want to demand?" "Actually, yes." Chloe took a breath. "I want to meet the surrogate, Camilla, the woman carrying Michael's biological child." That stopped him cold. "Why?" "Because she's going through something as surreal as I am, and because that baby deserves to know its biological mother someday, even if I'm not raising it." Chloe's hand moved to her stomach unconsciously. "We're connected now, whether we planned it or not. It's a security risk." "Everything's a security risk, but she's under your protection too, right? In your hospital?" Luca nodded slowly. "Then arrange it. Please." For a moment she thought he'd refuse. Then he pulled out his phone, typed something. "Tomorrow, 2 o'clock. The hospital has a private meeting room. 1 hour, Marco stays outside the door." "Thank you." "Don't thank me yet. She might hate you." "Can't blame her." Chloe smiled wryly. "I'd hate me too if our positions were reversed." The hospital was more luxury hotel than medical facility. Private rooms, 5-star dining, staff that moved like Secret Service. Marco led Chloe to a tastefully decorated meeting room on the 4th floor. A woman sat by the window, early 30s, dark hair, 7 months pregnant. Camila Martinez looked up, and Chloe saw her own confusion and fear reflected back. "So you're her," Camila said. "The architect who accidentally stole my job." "I didn't steal anything." Chloe sat down carefully. "I'm as much a victim of this mess as you are." "Really?" Camila's voice hardened. "Because from where I'm sitting, you got Luca Bianke's obsessive protection, a mansion, unlimited resources. I got a hospital room and a check. You also got your freedom. I got a golden cage." That softened Camila's expression slightly. "He really won't let you leave?" "Not until the baby's born and the threat level drops." Which according to him could be never. Chloe pulled out her ultrasound photos. "This is yours biologically, Michael's child." Camila stared at the images, hand moving to her own belly. "And this one is yours and Michael's. Except it's not, because Bianke's DNA is in there instead." "Exactly." Chloe laughed, the sound slightly hysterical. "This is the most complicated custody arrangement in history." "What happens after?" Camila asked quietly. "After we both give birth?" "I don't know." Honesty felt necessary. "Luca hasn't said, but I think he wants to keep his biological child, and I assume you'll want the baby you carried. Even though it's not genetically mine? Genetics aren't everything." Chloe met her eyes. "You're giving it life. Your body, your sacrifice. That matters." Camila was quiet for a long moment. "Michael came to see me. Your ex-fiancé." Chloe's stomach dropped. "When?" "Last week. Bianke's people allowed a supervised visit." Camila's expression turned sympathetic. "He wanted to know if I'd consider keeping the baby, raising it. Said he couldn't handle being connected to you through a child after everything that happened." The words shouldn't have hurt. Michael had made his position clear. But they stung anyway. "What did you tell him?" "That I'd think about it." Camila sighed. "I signed up to be a surrogate because I needed money, not because I wanted to be a mother. But now there's this whole mess, and I don't know what the right answer is." "Neither do I." Chloe reached across the table, squeezed Camila's hand. "But maybe we don't have to figure it out alone. Maybe we can, I don't know, navigate this together. You want to be friends with your baby's biological mother while pregnant with another man's child?" Camila's lips twitched. "That's insane. This whole situation is insane. Might as well embrace it." Camila laughed, real, surprised laughter. "You're not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Some pampered princess who couldn't handle reality, but you seem," she paused, "like you're handling it better than I am." "I'm an architect. We're trained to find structural solutions to impossible problems." Chloe smiled. "Doesn't mean I'm not terrified every single day." They talked for the full hour. About pregnancies, morning sickness, the surreal experience of carrying children that weren't biologically theirs. About Michael, Camila's impression of him as lost and overwhelmed. About Luca, Camila's observation that he looked at Chloe like she was oxygen. "He loves you," Camila said as their time ran out. "Whatever else is happening, that man is completely gone on you." "He's obsessed, that's different." "Maybe, or maybe it's both." Marco drove Chloe back to the estate in silence. She was processing the visit, the unexpected connection with Camila, the bomb about Michael wanting nothing to do with the baby. They were pulling through the gates when Marco spoke. "Boss is in the gym. Thought you should know." "Why would I need to know that?" Marco's smile was knowing. "No reason." Chloe told herself she was going to her room. She really did. But her feet carried her to the converted gym in the East Wing. Luca was there, shirtless, destroying a punching bag with controlled fury. Sweat gleamed on his skin. The snake and rose tattoo writhed on his neck with each movement. And God help her, he was beautiful in a dangerous, feral way. She should leave. Should definitely leave. Instead, she leaned against the doorframe and watched. Luca sensed her presence, turned. His eyes locked on hers, chest heaving. "How was the visit?" "Good. Complicated. Human." Chloe stepped inside. "She's not what I expected." "What did you expect?" "Someone who'd hate me on sight. Instead, I think we might actually be friends." "Friends?" Luca grabbed a towel, wiped his face. "You're remarkable, you know that?" "Why?" "Because most people in your position would be drowning. You're making connections, planning, adapting. You're surviving. I learned from the best." The words came out softer than intended. Luca went very still. "Chloe, 7 years ago, you taught me to be brave, to stand up for what I wanted." She moved closer, drawn by something she couldn't name. "You made me believe I could design anything, be anything. Then you disappeared and I had to relearn all of it alone. I'm sorry. Raw, genuine. For leaving, for hurting you, for all of it. I know." She was close now, close enough to see his pulse jumping in his throat. "But you're here now. And I'm here. And we're having a baby that neither of us planned but both of us want to protect." "Chloe, what are you saying?" "I'm saying I don't hate you as much as I should." The confession tore out of her. "I'm saying that watching you nearly die protecting me 2 weeks ago broke something in me. I'm saying that sitting across from you at dinner every night is torture because I remember how it felt to love you." Luca's control cracked. He closed the distance between them, cupped her face. "You can't say things like that to me." "Why not?" "Because I'm barely holding on to the last shred of distance between us. Because if you give me permission, I'll claim you in every way possible. And I can't afford to lose control. Not with you. Not when keeping you safe requires me to stay focused. Maybe control is overrated." Chloe's hands came up to his chest, felt his heart hammering. "Maybe we're both tired of fighting what's between us." "Chloe." Warning. Plea. Prayer. She kissed him. Soft. Testing. Giving him a chance to pull away. He didn't pull away. He made a sound low in his throat and kissed her back like a man starving. 7 years of longing poured into one desperate moment. His hands tangled in her hair. Her body pressed against his. Heat and need and something deeper than either. When they finally broke apart, both breathing hard, Luca pressed his forehead to hers. "This is a terrible idea." "Probably. You're pregnant, vulnerable. I'm the man holding you captive. You're also the man who came back for me during an attack, who eats dinner with me every night, who's trying so hard to protect me he can't see I'm already falling again." "Falling." His voice cracked. "Terrifying, right?" Chloe smiled against his lips. "I must be losing my mind." "We both are." He kissed her again, slower this time, like he was memorizing the taste of her. When they finally separated, reality crashed back. "This doesn't change anything," Luca said. "The danger, the situation. I know. You're still trapped here. I know. And I'm still the man who kidnapped you." "I know that too." Chloe touched his face gently. "But maybe we can figure out what we are to each other. Beyond captor and captive. Beyond this mess we're in." Luca pulled her close, held her like she was precious and breakable. "I never stopped loving you," he whispered. 7 years and I never stopped." Chloe's eyes burned. "You have a really terrible way of showing it." His laugh was choked. "Yeah, I do." They stood there in the gym, two people caught between past and present, between love and captivity, between hope and danger. Outside, the war continued. Inside, something shifted, something that felt like the beginning of an ending, or maybe just the beginning of something new. The Rossi family made their final move 3 months later. Chloe was 6 months pregnant, visibly showing, working on a hospital redesign in her office when the power cut. Not flickering. Complete blackout. Her training kicked in. Luca had insisted on protocols. She moved to the panic button under her desk, pressed it 3 times. Silent alarm. The door burst open. Not Marco, not any of Luca's men. a stranger in tactical gear, gun raised. "Mrs. Bianke, you're coming with us." "I'm not Mrs. Anything." Chloe's hand moved to the pepper spray in her drawer, Luca's compromise. "And I'm not going anywhere." The man laughed. "We can do this easy or hard. Your choice." Before Chloe could respond, the window exploded. Luca crashed through in a hail of glass, taking down the intruder with brutal efficiency. Two more men followed, Nico and Marco, weapons drawn. "Basement, now!" Luca hauled Chloe up, checked her for injuries. "Are you hit?" "No, I'm—" "Basement." He pushed her toward Nico, who caught her gently. "Come on, future sister-in-law, let's get you somewhere bulletproof." They ran through corridors Chloe had memorized over months. Behind them, gunfire erupted, Luca's voice barking orders, more guards pouring in. The basement safe room was bigger than the upstairs panic room, designed for extended sieges. Nico locked them in, immediately checking security feeds. "How bad?" Chloe asked, hand protectively over her stomach. "Bad." They hit 3 entry points simultaneously. Nico's jaw clenched. "This isn't a raid. It's an extraction attempt. They want you." "Then let them have me." The words were out before Chloe could stop them. "If it ends the war." "No." Nico's voice was steel. "You don't get it. If they take you, they take leverage. They'll use you and that baby to control Luca forever. Or worse, they'll kill you both once they've extracted what they need. This isn't negotiation, it's war." On the monitors, Chloe watched Luca fight. He moved like violence personified, precise, deadly, terrifying. This was the man he'd become, the monster he'd warned her about. And she loved him anyway. 20 minutes felt like hours. Then Luca's face filled one of the monitors. "It's clear. Open up." Nico checked 3 more feeds before unlocking the door. Luca stood there, blood-spattered but alive. His eyes found Chloe, and something in him visibly relaxed. "You're okay." "We're okay." She moved to him, not caring about the blood. "Are you?" "Fine." He pulled her close, breathed her in. "But we can't stay here. They know our defenses now. We need to relocate." "Where?" "I have a place off the grid. No one knows about it except family." Luca looked at Nico. "Get the cars ready. We leave in 30 minutes." The place was a compound upstate, 3 hours from the city, surrounded by forest, fortified like a military installation but designed like a luxury retreat. "You've had this the whole time?" Chloe asked as they pulled through the gates. "Insurance policy, somewhere to disappear if everything went to hell." Luca helped her from the car. "Looks like hell arrived." The compound had everything. Medical facility, communication center, enough supplies for months. A prison that felt more like a fortress. That first night, Chloe stood at the window of their new room. Singular, she noticed, watching the perimeter guards patrol. "I can sleep in another room," Luca said from the doorway. "If you want space." "Do you want space?" "No." Honest, raw. "But I'm giving you the choice." Chloe turned to face him. This man who'd kidnapped her, protected her, loved her, terrorized her, who'd become the center of her complicated, dangerous world. "Stay." She held out her hand. "I'm tired of fighting what this is." Luca crossed to her, took her hand like it was precious. "What is this, Chloe? What are we? Survivors? Partners? 2 people trying to protect a baby we didn't plan but already love." She placed his hand on her stomach where their child moved. "And maybe more than that. I love you." He said it clearly, no hesitation. "I never stopped, I never will. Even if you hate me for keeping you prisoner." "I don't hate you." Chloe kissed him softly. "I hate the situation. But you? You're the only thing keeping me sane in all this insanity." They made love that night, gentle, careful of her pregnancy, but desperate with months of denied need. After, lying tangled together, Luca's hand never leaving her stomach, Chloe felt something shift. Not freedom, She still couldn't leave, couldn't return to her old life. But choice, agency within captivity, love within impossible circumstances. When this is over, she whispered, I want a real choice, about us, about staying. When this is over, Luca promised, you'll have every choice, even if it means watching you walk away. Chloe knew he meant it, knew it would destroy him, knew she probably wouldn't walk away anyway. 3 weeks later, Camilla went into early labor. Luca arranged secure video feed. Chloe watched from the compound as Camilla delivered a healthy baby girl, Michael's biological daughter. The baby Chloe would have raised if not for the clinic's mistake. Michael was there, distant, uncomfortable, but present. She's beautiful, Chloe whispered, tears streaming. You okay? Luca stood behind her, hands on her shoulders. I should be devastated. That should be my baby. She watched Camilla hold the newborn, saw something settle in the woman's face. But it's not. And Camilla, she's bonding, really bonding. Michael asked if I'd facilitate adoption papers, Luca said quietly. He wants Camilla to keep her. Legal adoption, clean break. Good. Chloe meant it. That baby deserves a mother who wants her. Camilla will be amazing. 2 months later, Chloe went into labor. Dr. Romano was there, full medical team, Luca refusing to leave her side for even a second. You're doing great, he murmured, holding her hand through contractions. So strong, so brave. Easy for you to say, Chloe gasped. You're not, oh God. 12 hours. 12 hours of labor before their daughter entered the world screaming. She's perfect, Dr. Romano announced, placing the baby on Chloe's chest. Absolutely perfect. Chloe stared at the tiny face, the dark hair, the green eyes that would probably match Luca's. Hi, baby girl, she whispered. We've been waiting for you. Luca's hand shook as he touched their daughter's head. When Chloe looked up, tears streamed down his face. Thank you, he choked out. For her, for staying, for everything. We still need to talk about the staying part, Chloe said, but there was no heat in it. After, he agreed. They named her Marina, after Luca's mother. A bridge between past and future. 6 months later. The war with the Rossi family ended, not with violence, but negotiation. Turned out the FBI had been building a case against the Rossis for years. Luca provided evidence, carefully documented, legally obtained, and the entire Rossi leadership got federal indictments. Suddenly, the threat level dropped. Suddenly, Chloe had choices again. She stood in the compound garden, Marina sleeping in her arms, watching Luca approach from the house. I spoke to your firm, he said. They want you back. Full partnership offer. New York office. That's amazing. There's an apartment, 2 bedrooms, top security, close to the office. Luca handed her a key. It's yours, no strings. You can leave today if you want. Chloe looked at the key. Freedom. Her old life, modified but returned. And Marina? Co-parenting. Whatever arrangement you want. I won't fight you. Luca's voice cracked. I promised you a choice. Here it is. Chloe studied this man who'd turned her world upside down, who'd kidnapped her and loved her, who'd fought wars to keep her safe. I have a counteroffer. Anything. The apartment. We take it. Both of us. She saw hope flare in his eyes. You and me and Marina. Real life, real choices, real partnership. No more captivity, but also no more separation. Chloe. I love you, Luca Bianke. I probably never stopped either. And yes, how we started was insane and traumatic and completely messed up. She shifted Marina gently. But we made something beautiful from that chaos. We made her. We made us. And I don't want to walk away from that. Luca pulled her close, careful of the baby between them. You're sure? Because once you choose this, choose me, I'm never letting go again. Good. Chloe kissed him. Because I'm not letting go either. What about your freedom? Freedom isn't being alone. It's being with someone who sees you as an equal partner, not a possession. She looked up at him. Think you can manage that? Every day for the rest of our lives. Marina woke up then, green eyes blinking at her parents. Luca took her carefully, held her like she was made of glass. Hi, Princess, Mommy just agreed to torture me forever. What do you think? Marina grabbed his finger, and Chloe's heart melted. We're really doing this? She asked. Normal life? You, me, baby, work, everything? Define normal. Luca smiled. But yes, as normal as we can manage. It wouldn't be easy. Luca still had family obligations, businesses that skirted legality, enemies who held grudges, but they'd face it together. Not as captor and captive, as partners, as parents, as two people who'd found love in the most impossible circumstances. 3 years later, at Marina's birthday party, Camilla arrived with her daughter Sophia, Michael's biological child. The two girls played together while the adults watched. We're like the weirdest blended family in history, Camilla observed. Definitely unconventional, Chloe agreed. But it works. Luca wrapped his arms around Chloe from behind, kissed her temple. Regrets, he whispered. She turned in his arms, looked at Marina laughing with Sophia, at the life they'd built from chaos. Not a single one. And she meant it. The end.